Hey, Gluten Free Badass, how are you? When you come home from a long day at work, how do you feel? I know how I feel. Even though I love to cook, I am not interested in cooking. I'm interested in eating. So what are we gonna do when gluten-free grains, which can really fuel us for the rest of our evening, takes a minimum of 20 minutes to cook, or possibly even as long as an hour? I don't have time for that. I'm sure you don't have time for that. So let's try to figure out tonight, how are we gonna overcome that? And also, if we're making salmon, how are we gonna make salmon and not have it turn out all dry and tough without like hovering over the oven saying, are you done? Are you done? We want it to be tender and succulent and easy. And so we have both these issues, the grains and the salmon. What are we gonna do? We are going to turn to our savior, the Instant Pot. It's gonna cook both in minutes. Literally, the greens are gonna take 3 minutes, the salmon's gonna take 6. This is fabulous. Okay, so within 15 minutes of coming home, you are gonna have a gourmet and delicious meal. If you would like to share during the show, what are some of the things that you like to eat when you get home that's quick, we would love to hear it, because not only can I learn from it, but all of us in our community can learn from it. All right, so let's start with the salmon, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a maple orange glaze. And so, as you might imagine, we're gonna start with maple syrup. And we are going to put in 1/3 cup. And as you may know, you can always go to wickedlywholesome.com, go to our live stream page, and look at the recipes there. So we're gonna put in our maple syrup, and because we're putting in salmon and we're gonna put it down, not with the skin down, but with like the top of it down, the face of it, I'm not quite sure how to, the flesh, we're gonna say the flesh. Then we want a little bit of oil, just a tablespoon, so nothing is sticking. We don't want stick, we want yum. Alrighty, so also, let's see, so we have our sugar in there, we have a little bit of oil, and I see some folks have joined us. Hello, good to see you. We're gonna put in some acid, because all good sauces need a little bit of acid, and we're gonna use balsamic vinegar, which when I first was, heard this recipe, I was kind of like, really? That seems a little harsh. Actually, it is perfect. With the strong flavor of the maple syrup, you really need something to cut it a little bit. And again, welcome if you wanna, Deborah Unger, hello, how are you? We're glad you're here. How is your week going? You are finishing up your work very soon. I don't remember what day though. To add a little complexity to our sauce, we're just gonna put a little bit, about a half tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And that again gives it a nice little bit of spice. You can't have food without some good salt in it. So we're gonna put a little salt, and of course, a couple dashes of pepper. Now, because this is an orange maple sauce, we want to use the rind of an orange. The other day when I was making this, I was out of oranges, so I used tangerines. That worked too. So put that in there, and we're gonna stir it up, and then I'm gonna give you a look at it so you can see what it's all about. So you're just gonna stir that up. These are all really easy steps. So you can see it in here. We just have a nice, kind of happy, rather liquidy sauce, which later we're actually gonna reduce down into a much thicker sauce to put on top of it. Now, to me, one of the best things, whether you're cooking for yourself or for others, I try to put in as much salmon as I can. I've got 3 right now, but you probably could fit up to 4. And the reason for that is the only thing that's better than coming home and cooking a really quick meal is coming home and eating really good leftovers in just like 2 minutes. And let's see. Okay, we need our top, and we are going to put this on. This is gonna be fun trying to put it on backwards. There we go. And we are going to put it on the ceiling. And we're just gonna put the pressure cooker on literally for 1 minute. Let's put that puppy on. Okay, I already have it preset for 1 minute. Now the thing is after we cook it for a minute, we're actually gonna let it sit in here for 5 minutes. That's where the whole 6 minutes comes in, because we want it to get a little bit more. So now it's beeping, saying, hi, I've heard you, I'm gonna heat up. And then it's going to beep again in a little bit to say, I'm cooking. And then it's gonna beep a 3rd time saying, all done. So we're happy to have it moving and grooving. We're gonna move this out of the way. Ooh, you may have noticed I do not have my wonderful helpers today. They are out and about with their dad, but they do say hello to you. And I'm excited to see you too. All right, so I'm actually going to pull up here a second Instapot. Now, you do not need 2 Instapots in your house. I would recommend it because I always like multiple things in my meals. And then I have 2 pots cooking for me, and I really feel like a queen, which is wonderful. But what you can do is you can cook your salmon, and I always recommend having a second one of these pots because once the salmon is done, you can go and make your grain pilaf and do it all in the same Instapot. All right, so again, what I want is simple. So we're gonna take some mushrooms. You could do white mushrooms. I have baby bellas here. I'm actually gonna move this little puppy over for a minute. And we are going to just dump these out. Doesn't have to be pretty. It's just gonna be in your happy little pilaf. No one's actually gonna blend in. So what we're gonna do is what's called a rough cut. But we're gonna do that after we actually put this on the saute. Saute. Oh dear, hold on 1 second. Technical difficulties. Why are you not turning on, my God? Are you not? Oh, because he's not plugged in. There we go. Now we're in. And we are gonna do the saute function, just because to start heating things up before we do the pressure cooker. So as you can see, we have these wonderful mushrooms. And again, don't be precise, just start chopping. And you want to get them a little bit smaller pieces because we want everything to cook pretty quickly within 3 minutes. And mushrooms are obviously very soft, very liquidy, and they cook really easily and very quickly in your Instapot. All right. Now, if you have an Instapot, what do you like to cook in it? I am curious. So here we are. We've got some wonderful mushrooms. We are going to put them in. As you can see, we did not waste a lot of time trying to make them perfectly cut. We don't care. And okay, so now we're going to do grains. What are our grains? Again, you may remember, we like our grains to have friends. We like them to party together. And so we're going to do a tricolor quinoa as well as some millet. And we are going to do a 3/4 of a cup of the quinoa. We would just add all that. And then we're going to do a 1/4 cup of the millet. Again, they just help each other taste better when there's a nice combination. Because honestly, they're a little bland and boring. Actually, a lot bland and boring all by themselves. So we want them to hang out together and have fun. Next thing, we want salt. If you're going to have grains, you got to have salt. So we're going to put in a little 1/2 teaspoon of our salt. And we want to have some depth of flavor, and we're going to put in just 1 garlic clove. A good sized one, though, is what I would recommend. And again, do not waste any time cutting it. Just get yourself one of these nice little garlic presses. Boom, done. And we are going to put that in. And lovely. Very good. Oh, Deborah. Oh, hi, Cheryl. We are glad you are watching too. How's it going? Let's see. So we've got our garlic. Oh, we need our liquid, of course. And this makes me realize. So what we want to do. Oh, are you serious? I have left the chicken stock, chicken broth in the fridge. Hold on 1 second. Just hang on. We will go get that. Hello. Where did you go? You're hiding. That's fat. Oh, there it is. It's hiding behind the chocolate milk. Okay. So I just bought some chocolate milk for my son, who is quite the athlete, because his doctor said it helps his muscles recover afterwards. I think that takes, it's a very tasty way to go about that. So we're going to put in, you want to put it whenever you have a cup of quinoa or millet, you want to put in 1.25 cups of liquid. And let me see if I can find that. There we go. And you're going to put 1/2 is going to be chicken stock, or chicken broth, because those are technically different things. And oh my gosh, how did I not open this already? Oh, I feel better already. Okay, hold on. We should try it, shouldn't we? Just make sure it's okay. It's okay. All right, so we're gonna put in now our 1.25 cups. And the wine, again, is an acid, and it really helps to bring out the flavors of everything else that is in here. I see Catherine is watching. Hi, sweet pea, how are you? Okay, so what we're gonna do next is we actually need a new spoon because we used the other one, and we are going to stir this up. And again, I will show you what it looks like. It's gonna be this beautiful pilaf of grains and garlic and mushrooms. Nothing boring, everything tasty about that. So if you take a look in there, there we go. That's it. We're gonna put the top on this, and we're gonna let that cook for 3 minutes. So we're gonna put on, oh dear, this keeps falling out. You need to stop doing that, sir. Let's take a look here. Dun, dun, dun. Let's make sure. Oh, this is hilarious. Okay, so we're gonna turn this on, and we're gonna put on the pressure cooker, and we are going to cook that for 3 minutes. That's all it needs. Catherine, thank you. No need for those types of emojis, okay? And I'll be honest with you, this hilarious thing is not cooking for some reason. So one thing that we're gonna talk about is how do you make, what are like those little touches that can help you have restaurant quality meals in your own home? One is wine. If not just drinking it, but putting it in your sauces, in your stews, because again, it just lends that beautiful taste where sometimes you think to yourself, what is that? And it's usually some really good wine that you put in there. And you want wine that you're willing to drink, because if you're not willing to drink it, then you don't want to have it in your food. Catherine, it is okay that you are late. We are always happy to see you. The second thing that really helps for restaurant quality is fresh herbs. I'm putting in cilantro today. You could put in thyme, or you could put in rosemary if you chopped it really finely, or you could do parsley. But I think the cilantro is kind of a fun, little bit of a tart contrast to all that earthiness of the pilaf. So we are gonna cut that up, and we're going to do that. And you're going to sprinkle that on top of your pilaf when it is all done and out. And we are done. So when your pilaf is done, you're just going to take it out and stir it and serve it. And then when your salmon is done, you're going to take it out and let it sit for a moment while you boil the sauce and make it nice and thick. And this is what you're going to get in the end. You are going to get this beautiful salad. See, we put our little cilantro on top, and we have our salmon perfectly cooked. There's no way to undercook it or overcook it unless like you let it sit in there for 15 minutes with this wonderful kind of caramelized maple, I was about to say marble, maple orange sauce. So let's take a bite, shall we? I'm excited. Ooh, oh, this salmon is going to be delicious. It is fork tender. I took a really big bite. The sweetness and the acid in the sauce is the perfect balance. And then let's try our pilaf. I have to say, this might be the best pilaf I've ever had. It has the, again, a little bit of the crunchy texture of the different grains, along with kind of that softness of the mushrooms, and together it is just a wonderful combination. And then you have the brightness of the cilantro as well. Catherine, I agree, it is yummy. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us today. I just want to keep eating because when I get home from work, I'm hungry. I'm so glad that we can be together, and I would love your suggestions on how you, what kind of things that you make for gluten-free dinners when you get home, because we all have expertise and authority on gluten-free eating and cooking, and when we share it with each other, we actually are changing that part of the world, and we are becoming even bigger and better badasses. So please have a wonderful week. Keep being you, and never, ever compromise on that. All right, take care.